returns home this week to face Weber State after moving to 1-0 in conference play of the win at Eastern Washington. The halftime of the Weber State game will be the midpoint of the season. Hard to believe it's here already. But we'll start with the.
How do you figure?
This is the halftime of the game. It's halfway through the season.
We're playing 12 games.
Is that
At
my
the end
math
of
wrong?
that game, your math is bad. I'm glad there's somebody dumber than me here.
Anyway, we'll start with your final thoughts on Eastern Washington.
All right, there we go.
There we go. Fire it off.
All right, yeah, you thought you were going to be smart.
Yeah, no, I guess not.
Everyone may think you're a jackass. Why open your mouth and remove all doubt? All right, now we can start. That's not online. Yeah, it is. Okay. You asked me about Eastern, Mr.
Yeah,
5.5
Eastern
versus
Washington.
6.5.
Yeah,
Just
6.5.
Okay. It's great to win. Obviously, we're excited. It's good to be 1-0 on the week. You know, each week there's either 1-0 or 0-1, and it's good to be 1-0 on last week. So it's a wild game. Haven't had one like that in a while. In fact, I don't remember the last one. So that was good. And then now it's on to Weber. It's always exciting to play some of the original Big Sky Conference teams, and we won't read a bunch into their loss last week because I firmly believe they got caught looking ahead. I think they're far better than they played last week, and we're not going to get fooled by that, certainly. So they're a tough-minded team. They're disruptive on defense. Their offensive line is extremely well coached, and skilled at wide receiver and running back. Going to be a handful for us this weekend.
Questions?
Coach mentioned Weber's offensive line. They've had the same offensive line coach forever. So do they look like old Weber offensive lines that you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I think. I don't know exactly what that means, but they're a good-looking group. They're big. They're physical. Again, Brent does a great job coaching them. They're well coached. He's been around a long time and knows what he's doing.
Seems like Weber generally is really good up front on both sides of the ball. Do you feel that evaluation is true about this Weber team, and what do you think of their defensive front?
They've got good size. They're physical as always. They're year in, year out. We didn't play them last year, but most years we do play them, and they've generally got good size on the defensive line in particular, and everybody's O-line's big. They're active. They've got a good temperament about them. That's throughout their whole team, but it's the tone gets set in front.
Erik, looking back at the game, all the tight ends getting involved, a couple touchdowns for you. Jake Schaefer had the big catch. Just speak to that group and you guys making that impact this last week, both in the receiving and blocking game as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. Obviously, we got to be ready when our numbers are called on to make plays, and you know, ultimately, we just stick with the game plan and do what it takes to get 1 out each week.
As you look back at 700 yards of offense, 52 points, just what was clicking with the offensive unit? Why were you guys able to put up those kind of numbers?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the run game, obviously, and Logan had a huge game, but having 360 yards of rushing is huge, and that just opens it up for everything else, and that's what we did.
Then Trevin, you've got history with Weber State, obviously. What do you know about this group, and what kind of stands out about them? And like Coach mentioned, maybe the record isn't indicative of how good this team is, and what do you know about them?
Yeah, we always know they're always good. I've watched a little bit of them. They seem to be really good on the outside. Quarterback seems to sling it around a little bit. That back's good. Yeah, they're gonna have your hands full. Be good.
Erik, it's been a long time since you scored a touchdown, so how did it feel to score twice, and what is it that's kind of kept you motivated over the years to just put yourself in the spot to be ready when you're called upon?
I mean, it obviously feels good to score, but at the end of the day, everyone on this team we're all team first guys, and we just do what it takes to win every week, and ultimately, as long as we get that done, that's the main goal. So,
Bobby, 3 receiving touchdowns by the tight ends. Just when you're able to incorporate them in the pass game, what does it feel that adds to this offense?
Well, they're always incorporated in the pass game. So what was the second part of that?
Just what does it add to the offense when you're able to get the wide receivers more involved in the passing, as opposed to, I know they're primarily blockers, but when you can get them involved,
Well, they're
receiving too.
Yeah, we don't keep men in protection very much, so they're always involved in it. It's just where the ball goes, you know. If they don't, they don't cover them. Certainly, our guys can catch it.
And Trevin, I know you're a guy who worked your way up. When you see someone who's been here for so long without getting a touchdown grab, just what's it like for you to see someone like Erik, you know, make some big time plays for you guys?
Yeah, really, really, really awesome to see Barker make those plays on Saturday. Jake as well. Those guys work their tails off week in and week out, and they deserve recognition just like everybody else. And yeah, really, really happy for them and proud of this team. So.
Coach, when you watched the film back, what did you see defensively that gave you some issues?
Well, there are a lot of things. A lot of guys out of position. You got to play your assignment. You know, it's defensive football. You got to do your 111, and when you don't, then it can look bad, and at times it did. Specifically, giving up some big plays. I thought the quarterback running the ball hurt us. We knew that was a factor going into the game with all three of those guys, so that wasn't a big shock. But yeah, you gotta play your assignment. You gotta be in terms of coverage. You gotta be in your zone, and when we're in zone coverage, you can't blow off your zone coverage. Man coverage, you gotta have man eyes. You can't have dirty eyes in man coverage. And then I thought our second contain on the scramble was good enough.
I wanted to ask about Sawyer and what he's brought to the team. I mean, he's making tackles on special teams, but also has made some key blocks, bringing some big runs, and just kind of what he brings to the offense and what you like about him.
Yeah, he's good. Sawyer's a good player. He's a versatile guy. He's a physical player at the wideout position, which is great, both in terms of catching passes and muscling up on the run game. And then he's becoming a really fine special teams player as well. So he's contributing in a lot of ways.
Erik, walk me through kind of the play to Jake, kind of like from your perspective, like what that was like, and then when you saw him caught it, what that was like for you.
Yeah, well, that was actually the same play that I scored my first touchdown on, so that was really awesome to see. And I kind of called that at about halftime. I said, we're going to run that, Jake, you're going to catch that. And so that was just awesome to see. He's an awesome dude. He works, like Trevin said, he works his tail off, and it's really fun to see him finally get in the end zone.
And then Trevin, what's it like, once you get into kind of big sky play, it's so week to week, what's it like just putting last week aside and trying to work and get better and just you've been doing it a lot, that the week to week preparation, just and what that's like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think it's just like it's the same type of mentality I have out on the field. It's just kind of next play mentality, next week mentality. You kind of move on and just look at what's in front of you. What can you do better to better yourself and better the team each week? And yeah, that's kind of how I attack it.
Coach Weaver brings in a top 15 rushing attack. Their running back Bankston coming off a big game, got 500 yards on the season. What have you seen from him and their running game as a whole that kind of makes him go?
Bankston, as Trev mentioned, is a really good player. And then I mentioned earlier that their offensive line's really well coached. So they're targeted well. I think their tight end's pretty energetic in terms of their piece to that. They've got their kick returner Butler comes in, carries the ball some. He's dynamic with the ball. So they've got ability to move the ball on the ground. Play multiple personnel groups, give you a bunch of different looks. I mean, they're not vanilla at all in terms of their run game. They've got a lot of run game.
Anybody else?
Bobby, I forget exactly what you said about special teams after the game, but you didn't seem pleased with the way you guys played, and just giving up some big, lengthy kick returns. What do you feel you guys can do better in that area? What do you need to clean up? And then Weber seems like they have a guy who's run some big kick returns too. So just what do you see out of them returning the ball there?
Yeah, we need to get off blocks and tackle better. That'll probably, you know, punt coverage was good, even though we didn't punt a whole lot. In terms of kickoff coverage, we didn't get off blocks very well at the point of attack and didn't get the guy on the ground. He had a long return of 46 yards. We've got to kick it better. We're getting those guys a better opportunity by pinning the ball better and creating more hang time, but we have to get off blocks.
Anyone else? Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.